Hello, my name is Ken Neer, and I'm with Christ Quest Ministries, where we disciple men to become the kind of spiritual leaders who are living examples of the Christ. My topic this time is arguments about spiritual maturity. It seems as though men in the Christian community usually believe that spirituality or spiritual maturity consists of religious performances. Let me see if I can explain with examples what I mean by religious performances. Before I do, though, let me mention that I am definitely not saying that these performances are unspiritual. Here's my first example. This would be about a man who becomes a missionary. He's then considered to be very spiritual. However, I have not yet met one who knew of or were familiar enough with their own human spirit to the degree that they could clearly define or depict it and its function in their being. No, I haven't met every missionary, only hundreds of them. But if being a missionary were proof of spirituality or spiritual maturity, wouldn't every one of them be aware of and be able to specifically verbalize a definition of their human spirit? Next, while discipling a couple wherein we had previously validated that this Christian husband, a leader in his church, didn't understand his own spirit. And I've asked each one of thousands of Christian husbands I've worked with, who is supposed to be your wife's and children's spiritual caretaker? To which every one of them answered, that would be me. Remember, because it was previously validated that they didn't understand their own human spirit. My next question is, since you're their spirit's caretaker and you don't understand your own human spirit, which also means neither do you understand theirs, how are their spirits going to be cared for? They don't know. And yet they've been given the title of and are illegitimately operating as the spiritual leader in their home. Here's the problem with that. John 4:24, King James Version, tells us, God is spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. How does a husband do that when he is spiritually dysfunctional? Here's another. A husband who quotes scripture is considered spiritual. But I've literally watched husbands annihilate their wives, family members, and others with their abusive use of scriptures. Kind of makes you wonder who is a greater influence in that man's life. My guess certainly would not be the Spirit of God. But here's Jesus, who is the living Word and is not condemning. Here's a scriptural description of his responses to some men who are exhibiting condemning attitudes. Here's Jesus, again the Word, and his response found in John 8:3-11, AMPC version, to the scribes and Pharisees who brought a woman who had been caught in adultery. They made her stand in the middle of the court and put the case before him. Teacher, they said, this woman has been caught in the very act of adultery. Now Moses, in the law, commanded us that such women offenders shall be stoned to death. If they were really after justice, where's the guy? I always thought adultery was a two-person sin. But they ask, what do you say to do with her? What's your sentence? He said, let him who is without sin among you be the first to throw a stone at her. They listened to him, and then they began going out conscience-stricken one by one, from the oldest down to the last one of them, till Jesus was left alone with the woman standing there before him, in the center of the court. Jesus said to her, "Woman, where are your accusers? Has no man condemned you? Has no man condemned you?" She answered, "No one, Lord." And Jesus said, "I do not condemn you either. Go your way, and from now on, sin no more." And if anyone was qualified to condemn her, it was him. But he said he was not here to condemn, but to save. Maybe this is a surprise, but did you know that Satan can also quote Scripture? As good as any man? See Matthew 4, 1 through 10. And again, when you see a man abusing others with Scripture, it kind of makes you wonder, who's the greatest influence in that man's life? For sure, my guess would not be the Spirit of God. Still, quoting Scripture is not a reliable way to qualify a husband as a spiritual leader. Surely we can agree that Jesus is an example of what a spiritual leader is. And he would definitely, thoroughly understand the spirit and mind of a woman. Why wouldn't it be fair then to measure a Christian husband's spirituality by comparing and measuring his ability to be as spiritually functional as Jesus was in his marriage? Wherein that husband has the same capability to care for his wife's spirit as the Christ is able to do. Thanks for joining me. If you feel this message has been a blessing to you, please subscribe. It's free. Share it with others and like it and comment on it. Then too, maybe the Lord might prompt you to consider blessing Christ Quest Ministries with a contribution. Till next time, this is Ken Nair, signing off.